Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy. Just wanted to jump on this week and give you a little bit of a market update for the Shoals area market. Today is September 27th, 2022, and just kind of ran some numbers for this month, last month, and July, and then looked at the previous year's numbers as well, and wanted to go over those with you to give you a kind of a picture of what the market is doing. Then give you my opinion of kind of where I think things are going. So I made a little spreadsheet, and I'm going to try to share that with you as we go. So the very first thing we want to talk about in this, I've got residential units sold for July, August, and September of 21 and 22. And so what I want to do in this quick video is go over all those numbers with you and talk about what those numbers might mean for you if you're a buyer or seller in this current market. So these are the numbers from Colbert and Lauderdale County. It includes Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Killen, Rogersville, Lexington, any place in those two counties. So let me see if I can get this pulled up here real quick. Okay, so as we can see here on this spreadsheet, I've got them going across this way: July 21, 22, August 21, 22, September 21 and 22. Can't see all that. Let me make that a little bigger there. Yeah, and then you can go across. I need to make that a little larger actually so you can see it. Yeah, September 22. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is residential units sold. So if we go back, let's just start in July. In July of last year, there were 204 residential units sold. This doesn't include commercial. This doesn't include leases. This is just houses and mobile homes, not raw land. 204 units sold. Now, contrast that to this year in July, we had 178 units sold. The average list price last year, $219,700. This year, $223,500. So that went up just a little bit, right? Average sold price, $215,700. Average sold price in 2022, $219,100. And so as we're kind of looking at those numbers, you can look down here. I put the percentage of the list price as the next. So 0.982 was last year, and 0.980 is this year. So it's gone down just a very small amount in July. Now, so the summer months we know are hot for the real estate market. People are out of school and they're moving. They're willing to, change things around and do some things because the kids are out of school and they're not going to get behind, not going to have a whole lot of chaos. So that's typically a very busy time for real estate. Last year, just based on the volume, last year in those two counties in the Shoals MLS, we sold $44 million worth of real estate. This year, $5 million less. $5 million less, $39 million worth of real estate. So you can see that there. So less units in July, a little bit higher pricing this year, but not a whole lot. And then the percentage of list price was pretty much consistent, but $5 million less real estate changing hands. Let's look at August 2021. It was interesting to me that August 2021 and August 2022, we sold the exact same number of units, 180. So just kind of an odd coincidence that happened. Now, you can see here that the average list price, average list price last year, $216. Average list price this year, $268.5. So we saw an increase in the list price. We saw an increase in the average sold price. So the average sold price, $213. Average sold price this year, $260,500. Now, one thing you need to know about averages, right, is just like I used to teach school, and so one number can really skew the averages, right? So when you're talking about an average list price and somebody lists $1 million home here, that can really skew our numbers up, right? So you got to kind of keep that in mind. That's why we use the percentage of list price as kind of a good indicator of how the market is doing. All right, so if we look at the percentage of list price last year in August, 0.986. So that's pretty good. I can remember before things got crazy in the real estate market, we were kind of shooting for 96%. If you could get 96%, 97% of list price, you were doing good. And so now, last year, people in August were getting 0.986, almost 99% of their list price. And this year, that's settled down a little bit in August, 0.97. Okay, so August is that last great rush before school starts. We start school ridiculously early here. August, I think my kids started August the 3rd this year. We start school really, really early. So people are wanting to get in place and get settled before that happens. But if they can't, they might be in the middle of their deal. August, real estate sales kind of still get that last of the summer squeeze there to get those sales out. So we sold last year $38.2 million worth of real estate. This year, $46.8 million. So again, a couple houses can skew that average, the total market volume. But at the same time, if you look at the percentage of list price, 0.97 versus 0.986 a year ago. Now, here's where it gets interesting to me because this is current. So this is numbers for September 2021 through today, 9/27/2022. So last year at this time we had 166 units sold. And these numbers from September 2021 are also just through the 27th to be fair and make a good comparison. So we had 166 units sold last year. Average list price $205,000. Average sold price $201,500. Percentage of list price 98.3%. Total volume $33.4 million worth of real estate. Now, this is where I think you can start to see a little bit of slacking off in the market because right now people aren't incentivized to sell. And let's talk about that just a second. So 166 last year, 115 units sold at this time so far this year. Average list price $238, average sold price $232, percentage of list price 97.5%, $27 million in total market sold houses, $27 million worth of inventory, so to speak. Now, we are going to continue to be inventory starved, I believe, in the Shoals market because if you see this, 166 sold last year, 115 sold this year in September up to this time. What I believe that really shows you is that the total number of houses on the market are going to go lower. And then we've had that problem for a few years, right? But now the total number of houses being lower and the buyer pool being smaller, it's not creating that same craziness and that crazy. The buyers are not able to pay as much because the interest rates have risen, or they don't want to, right? So that's where we are right now. And people who bought houses during the last 2 or 3 years, that typically would be the people that are coming on the market to sell right now, they're looking at it and going, well, I've got 3% interest rate, and if I go and sell my house right now, I can get a good amount for it, but what am I going to do? I'm going to have to buy something cheaper than what I have to make the same payment, right? Because the interest rate is so much higher. So they're looking at it going, well, I don't want to pay double the interest rate. I think I'll just sit tight and see what happens. I'm advising my clients and anybody that I talk to, you still have time if you do need to sell, okay? But what I would say is you need to really do that quickly. If you want to take advantage of this, the last days of this kind of good market that we've had, I would say get your house listed in the next couple weeks and try to get it sold and get moved and do everything before the holidays set in. Because when Thanksgiving hits, really and truly, unless you absolutely have to, people don't move during that time. From Thanksgiving to Christmas through the New Year, you will see a decline in sales, and it's every year. People just don't move during the holidays. And typically we don't see that kick back up until after income tax season comes around, people start getting their income tax done, and they get their money, and then they're ready to go out and buy homes again. That being said, my concern, I guess, and this is just me speculating as a real estate agent, my concern is that when we get to spring next year, where are we going to be? Because usually when we get out of that lull of the Christmas, New Year's, cold weather, the first warm day in February, the ant colonies start moving, so to speak. People start getting out looking at houses. It's hard to say where interest rates are going to be when we get to spring this time, and it's hard to say what the seller's market is going to be willing to part with. People are always going to have to move. People are going to have work things that come up, family things that come up, reasons to move across the country, to move out of state, to take care of a parent, to take another job for whatever reason. There's always going to be some movement in the real estate market. So you're always going to have some inventory, right? But for those people that are just like, I'm kind of tired of this house, I think I'm going to buy another one across town, or maybe I'm thinking about building a house and moving, I am a little bit curious and maybe a little leery to see what happens with that group of people when we get to the springtime next year. And it's all going to depend on what the interest rate does and how these elections go in November. There's a lot of things that kind of will factor in, a lot of things to consider. So all that being said, if you are a buyer right now, if you don't have to go out and find something at this very moment, you might do a little better if you wait a little while, right? If you wait until the spring, there's uncertainty there. The prices may get a little better. The interest rate may go up higher. I talked to somebody yesterday, and we were kind of thinking the same thing. Like, you may be at this point going, well, 6.5% interest, that's insane. You may be looking back at this in the spring of next year or a year from now going, those are the good old days. I wish I would have bought at 6.5% interest. Nobody can really know what's going to happen there until it does. But, you just have to weigh out your options. And remember, you're buying the house, not the interest rate. So you can always refinance. You can always go back and rework those numbers when better interest rates come along, because they're going to rise and fall. Historically, they're going to change. When I bought my first house, when Kim and I bought our first house, it was a rush to lock in at 5.875 interest. It was like, oh my gosh, we haven't seen these kind of rates in years. And, we got down below 3, and we got there and we stayed there for a long time. And, now people are kind of like, well, these interest rates are terrible. They're not. It's just different, It's different from what we've seen the last few years. And if you're a new homeowner or a new home buyer, you're looking at it going, oh, this is crazy. I've got friends who bought a house 2 years ago and paid 2.5% interest, and now I'm going to pay 6%. Those things are going to change, and they'll ebb and flow and come back around. So don't get discouraged. The house is the house, and that's what you're buying. You're not buying the interest rate. Now, you got to be able to afford it, like we talked about before, but the house is really what's the most important thing. So all that being said, if you have any questions about the market, if you have any questions about Shoals real estate at all, don't hesitate to contact me. My name is John Wright. I'm with Knight and Humphreys Real Estate, and I'd be glad to help you any way I can. Just reach out, leave a comment below, email me at johnthehouseguy@gmail.com, or feel free to call me, 256-412-1412, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. I love to talk about this stuff. It's very, very interesting to me, and hopefully it could help you relocate here to the Shoals area if you're coming from out of state and looking for a place to call home. Then we certainly can help you with that. Had several clients lately move here from out of state, and was able to help some folks from California. Welcome. Some folks from Las Vegas, welcome, and some folks from Atlanta, Georgia. So people coming here, and it's still a very good place to live. So I love being an agent here in the Shoals area, and I would love to help you. So don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day. God bless.